But anyway, so the Great Buyback, we'll just call it that. To preface this, I have never ever had public violent intent. I'm not a school shooter. I've never had but no, it's important. It's important. I've never had those bones in my body.
You were an EMT for Christ's sake.
I was an EMT. I love taking care of people. It's out of all the stages of my life, that is kept true. Anyway, I owned 3. I'll give the full count of it.
Collected.
I collected them, and I owned, and they were ready to go, and I knew how to use them. Still do.
Don't say that.
I do. I owned multiple army manuals that were like legit. I had all those army. I knew how to use them. I owned 3 crossbows that are these pistol crossbows that could shoot through concrete. They're awesome. They're 90-pound drawback crossbows that were reloaded with a winch. And I got down and reloading them in maybe 2-3 seconds. Man, 30, 40 plus knives, a gas mask. I was learning how to make. It was a mixture of.
Bro.
It was a mixture of I have anxiety disorders and shit like that. So I'm anxious. I also was just I had this not the savior complex of a 15-year-old you hope you fucking but I just felt like I had to be prepared for anything, and man was I prepared for anything. And also I don't have the best upbringing, so I've had to use these things in the past. Not a crossbow, but anywho,
almost sick.
I live with my stepfather, and at the time my stepfather's only really known me for 2-3 years. They weren't even married at the time. We were just living in his house, and my mom was cleaning out my room, and the only reason she found, I think I was 18 at the time when this happened. The only reason my mom continued to search my room was because she found a beer bottle on my couch, and she's like, ugh. And she found one on my thing, and so she's like, oh my god, he just has these around the room. She was not searching through my stuff. But then when she found multiple beer bottles, oh my god. And I'm I just forgot to throw them out. I didn't get a chance to hide them in the garbage or something, whatever. She found a Bowie knife and then 2 other knives, and she's like, what the fuck? And then proceeded to search my room and found only half of what I had, but I told her it was everything and threw the rest out when I was a good boy, and I threw the rest out. Properly disposed of it and throw them in the garbage.
Fuck.
And my stepfather was like, I don't know if I should be afraid of you or not. I don't know if I want you in the house. I almost got kicked out of my house.
Yeah.
My mom was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Doesn't even know you. He's gonna think you're a school shooter or some shit.
Bleep out that name also.
And I'm like, yeah. And it's just it was just so funny. So basically, I got a call at my dad's house that my mom found. She was like, we're gonna have a talk when you get home, but and she sent me a picture of it just laid out across the carpet.
Fuck.
And I'm like, that's not even half the stuff. So when I mean prepared for every situation,
fuck.
Any point you can stand in my house, within 7 Mississippis, you could find a knife. Within 10, you could find something that shot something. I'm proud of that statistic. I counted it and I tested it when they weren't home. 7 Mississippis who had a fucking combat knife. That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's awesome. No matter where you were in the house, I counted. I made sure. I had them all throughout the house. The whole house. From the garage to the backyard to the bathroom. Everywhere. 7 Mississippi. In a jog. You could find a knife. If you knew where they were. Proud of that. I'm proud of that statistic. My house was set to go. And then, this is the icing on top. And I told my mom, I'm like, I have this because God forbid something ever happens. I'm ready to go. You guys aren't ready. And gave me this whole I'm sorry. I keep saying his name to keep bleeping.
Dan
I'm
will
sorry.
bleep it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to get Dan more work. I don't get Dan more work. My stepfather kept going, I'll take him out. My bravado. He has this bravado thing, and I'm like, no, you don't understand how scary people are. You don't get in the fights. I've gotten the fights. Blah, blah, whatever. Get to your argument. 2 months later, a man the size of my 6'7" door frame tries breaking down my back door. My mom is screeching. Bill is not home. Mr. Bravado is not home. I have to fend him off with a watermelon knife, which is the size of the average viewer's thigh, in my boxers. and I have to chase him. He's trying to break down my back door. I chase him away from the door. I chase him outside. He runs into my front yard. I retreat back to tell my mom to like go in the room, close the door, don't call the police.
Bleep that.
I'm sorry. Oh my god. Fuck.
You're fine. You're fine. Just keep talking. We'll be the name.
Go inside my brother's room and call the police, and then just don't wake him up. Don't wake him up. Just be in there with him. And I'm securing the whole house. I'm like, fuck. I have no weapons. All this stuff that I had. Now, granted, this is the one thing that I don't advocate for is people who have delusions, which I had anxious delusions of. You know, this stuff does not happen regularly. This is a pure coincidence. Do not let coincidence, like, I told you so, you know, like, there's, like, I only if I had my stuff, because, God forbid I used half of the shit I had was illegal. If I shot a guy with a crossbow and killed him, I'm going to jail. Doesn't matter. I should not have owned that. It was illegal. I got it from somebody, my friend in Pennsylvania, that drove it to me. Like, I should not have had it. I had tasers, I had shit that, I had projectile tasers. Yeah. And
yeah,
it's yeah. Thanks, Skate Man. But yeah, we end up calling the police, and I told my stepdad, I'm like, hey, don't pull up to the house, because my mom called him, obviously, because we don't know if the guy's still out there. He pulls up to the front door, and I'm like, it's just like, here's the thing, like, and you guys can chime in now. I'm sorry I'm talking so much.
No, keep talking. You're good.
But like, you know, I understand, like, you know, I guess basically what I'm dancing around is like some people just can't admit that they just don't know how to handle that situation, and they don't want to admit that their younger, like, son basically knows how to handle it better than them. Like, and like his ego could have gotten us really hurt, and like that made me so mad that I ended up buying like 10 more knives. and just making it, I think it ended up being like 20 Mississippi or something. It was not very good. But like he could have gotten us hurt that day. Like, what if the guy was outside and he was like they don't think of this stuff. I know me and Dan do, because this is what me and Dan bonded over originally. Like Ricky introduced us, like, hey, like, this is my friend Dan. He also likes knives. And I was like, cool. And we talked about this stuff. But like, you guys ever had someone trying to break into your house before? It's happened to me multiple times in my life.
Wait, quick. But well, not quick. But so why is it called the Buyback?
Oh, it's
the prevent buyback.
Because I always thought it was a joke on police buybacks.
Well, it was a joke that I made about Australian gun buyback, but because then I literally inherited all of your weapons.
Oh right, yes. So there's some knives that I loved more than others. One was a.
Don't say that.
Sorry, it's a non. There's a couple of
It's
very
a knife.
legal.
It's just a knife I liked.
There's knives that I liked. I know, but I get nerdy about it because I really like them.
It's really cool.
He's not in possession of it.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, you're right, John. Who are you? I'm sorry, Ben's in possession of it.
This is gonna be very challenging.
It's gonna be challenging.
Yeah, I was in possession of it, and I buried it in Ben's backyard.
But there was. Well, this is legal to own the kukri.
I've got one of those.
Man,
It's a gardening tool.
I got this beautiful Sog kukri. I got it as a present from one of you.
Fuck, I think it was me.
You were getting your shit throttled.
Was it either Dan or was Ricky?
I feel like I bought
it was one of the two of you. Maybe it was you, Ricky.
Because I did buy it. I can literally go back in my Amazon orders and buy it for you.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. You could just get.
Dan bought me some cool survival thing once.
I did. Yeah.
I forgot what it was though. We've exchanged cool shit over the years, and I always forget who's who because Christmas is always together. But man, and there's stuff I gave to some of our other friends too. But there's also a
That was sick.
Maybe you should go ahead and conveniently state that all of this was done outside of the statute.
No, this was done all in Minecraft. This is all a video game reference. In Minecraft.
Yo, there's a hat on top of that.
Oh, there's a hat. Get the hat.
I know.
Yeah, I could probably fill a couple podcasts with silly Anthony stories.
I like it though. I just keep talking.
It's yeah, I just. You know,
did you pick this bus?
It's nothing.
The cursed omnibus trauma dump episode.
I hate when people. It's not trauma dumping. I'm just talking.
I'm kidding. I'm just.
There was a lot of that in ODTMI and also Bare Minimum.
Bare Minimum. The Bare Minimum podcast had some trauma.
We didn't even
dumping.
talk about the Bare Minimum.
Man, I actually love those episodes.
Those are great episodes.
I'll never forget Dan's edit.
Oh, those were great.
Oh,
That was great.
can we put that at the end of
do you
this
have
video
it,
for
Dan?
fun?
Yeah, I have it.
Put it at the end of this video.
Yeah, put it at the end of this video.
That's
It's
a whole
treat.
video on its own.
No, I think
I
we
know.
should
Just put it at the end of the video.
I think we
whatever
should
the
do-
last Omnibus video episode is, put it at the end of that
as
one.
a treat. So if you watch
As a
all the
treat.
Omnibus videos at the end, you get a nice little treat.
It was so funny moving to this town because like the town that we live in, the current town.
Oh, yeah.
It's very different than the town I grew up in. Because in this town it's very like cliche high school-y kind of stuff.
Yep.
And in my town it was like a lot of blue collar kids, a lot of sadly, a lot of single moms, a lot of ex-con parents and current con parents, and it was but you kind of bonded on it, and it wasn't like a thing where you're like, my dad's in prison, my mom's on her own, like, oh, let's go hang out on the porch.
gotta lose
and
yourself in
chill
the
out.
music.
Like that's even that's what we did. We'd hang out on the porch or go like down the block or like whenever. Usually hang on people's porches because like you weren't allowed to go way far away from home because you didn't want to get into trouble or end up running into somebody that you didn't want to run into. So you'd hang out by people's houses. If you could just run right back inside. It wasn't like I don't consider it traumatic. It's not good, but like I don't consider it traumatic. But it makes good content. Yes. Oh, good. TV antennas. Fuck yeah. I love this level.
He's gonna fly off and he's gonna lose it.
No, he's got this.
He's gonna lose it.
So,
Oh,
what's
nice.
a good one? What's a good Anthony story? Do you guys have any Anthony stories?
Hold on, there was one you were telling in a Steph pointed this out. We were watching Mortuary Assistant, and you started telling the story about like the little spooky thing that happened on one of your EMT calls, and you never finished it because the blood started pumping out of the person. We were all like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
Nice, Ricky.
I killed
that
him right
was
in the
great.
dick. Right
Hit
in
him
the
right in
dick.
the dick.
The police.
The police. Oh, the spooky. Yeah, that one's pretty good. You know what? I'm actually gonna save that.